Okay, for the next skill we're asked to find the gradient and intercept when we've been given the equation of a line. And we know that when we've got an equation in the form y equals mx plus c, we know that this number, the number that multiplies x, which we call the coefficient, which is the gradient, and c is our y-intercept. Now the difficulty we've got here is that in these examples it's not in the right form. So what we need to do is turn it into a form where y is on its own on one side of the equal sign, and on the other side of the equal sign you've got some number times x and a number on its own, a constant number. Okay, so let's have a look at this first one here. I've got y minus 2x minus 4. So what I want to do is I want to get rid of this minus 2x. The opposite of taking away 2x is adding 2x. So if I add 2x, they're going to cancel each other out, and I'm going to need to add 2x to the other side. Whatever I do to one side, I need to do to the other. So my minus 2x and my plus 2x on the left-hand side cancel each other out, so I'm just left with y take away 4 on the left-hand side. Those two have cancelled each other out. Equals 0 plus 2x gives me 2x. Still not quite right, because I've got that minus 4 there on the left-hand side, which I don't want. I want to get rid of that. So the opposite of this minus 4 is to add 4. So if I add 4 to the left-hand side to get rid of that, I need to do the same to the right-hand side, and it tells me then a solution y equals 2x plus 4. That's now in the right form. I've now got y on its own, some number timesing x, plus a number. So I can tell that the gradient of this line is 2 and the y-intercept is 4. Let's have a go at the next one. So the problem here is that I've got minus 2y. I want to always have positive y. So what I'm going to do to get rid of the taking away 2y is I'm going to add 2y. I'm going to add 2y. And that's the first thing I want to do. I want to make that into a positive 2y. So on the left hand side I've got 3 equals, now here I'm going to have 2y plus x, or x plus 2y. Doesn't matter which way around it is. So I'm going to want to get rid of this x here, because I want y on its own. So I'm going to take away x, take away x. So on the right hand side I'm just left with my 2y. On the left hand side I've got 3 take away x. Okay, now I've got 2y here. I only wanted y, so it's multiplied by 2. To get rid of that multiplying by 2, I'm going to want to divide by 2. If I divide by 2 here, I need to divide by 2 here. Well, 2y divided by 2 just leaves me with y, which is what I wanted. 3 divided by 2 is 1.5. 1x divided by 2 is minus 0.5x. Now, it's not quite how I like it, because my number involving x isn't first. I'm going to swap everything around, and it's going to be y equals, so here I've got minus 0.5x plus 1.5. So I can tell that the gradient equals minus 0.5 minus a half. The y-intercept is 1.5. Okay, let's try and do the last one. This is getting into the higher level questions. First thing I want to do, get rid of that minus a half y, so I'm going to add it. Tells me 2 equals 2x plus half y. I'm going to get rid of this 2x, I'm going to take it away. So I'm going to have minus 2x plus 2 equals a half y. I've got half y, I want a whole y, so I'm going to double it, and it gives me minus 4x plus 4 equals y, or y equals minus 4x plus 4. Gradient, minus 4. Y-intercept of 4. Okay, pause the video now while you get down those worked examples, then I'm going to give you some questions to try yourselves. Okay, so in each of these questions you're trying to be left with y on its own, so do whatever changes you need to do, whatever rearrangements, making sure you're doing the same to both sides to have y on its own. For questions 7 and 8, it's asking you whether two lines are parallel, so what you'll need to do is to put them into the form y equals mx plus c, and then see whether or not the gradients are the same. If the gradients are the same, they're parallel. If the gradients are different, they're not parallel. Pause the video now while you write down the questions and have a go at them yourselves. When you're ready, press unpause to see the solutions. Okay, so for the first one, you're trying to get y on its own, so you can move the minus 3x minus 3 over to the right hand side to give you y equals 3x plus 3, gives you a gradient of 3 and a y-intercept of 3. Next one, gradient minus 2, y-intercept of 4, gradient minus 3 and y-intercept of minus 5. Here you need to divide by 2 to get y on its own, gives you y equals 2x plus 1, is a gradient of 2 and a y-intercept of minus 1. It gets a bit more difficult here, you're adding 2y, so gives you 2y equals minus 7x plus 1, and then dividing by 2, which gives you a gradient of minus 3.5 and a y-intercept of 0.5. And here you're adding the half x together, and you need to multiply by 5 to give you a whole y, and gives you a gradient of 5 over 2, or 2.5, and a y-intercept of 5. When you rearrange these, they both give you gradients of a half, so they are parallel. When you rearrange these, you get a gradient of minus a third and minus 2/3, so they are not parallel. Give yourself a mark out of 8. Very, very well done.